Hi again, my name is Dwayne, and welcome to ECKAI Group, where we provide smart technology solutions that work for you. About 12 years ago, my wife and I were renovating our home. One piece of advice that we got was to wire it up for the future. That meant that we were expected to include network and coax cabling to every room in the house from a central location so that we could connect our computers and TVs and any yet to be invented devices into our Jetson-like home of the future. Well, we only ended up using 2 or 3 of those connections. We had a simpler life back then. But not only have fewer and fewer devices over the years actually needed a wired connection, most smart home devices on the market today, like light switches or cameras, don't even have wired network options available. In a very short span of time, our society has migrated most of our connectivity to wireless solutions. This, of course, has been led by the adoption from those little devices we hold in our hands and put in our pockets, the smartphone. But it's also been motivated by the improvements of another single product, the Wi-Fi router. These devices have one wire on one side and virtually unlimited wireless connectivity on the other that allows us to connect our homes and our lives to the rest of the world and all the wonderful services to which we now have access. We cannot have a conversation about smart home technology without first talking about the Wi-Fi signal that you have in your home. Most smart devices are actually quite dumb without a connection to the internet. Many will simply not function unless they can call home to be told what to do. So how do we ensure that we have a solid base upon which we can build the smartest home around? The answer is, of course, it depends. But it depends on only a few things and a few smart choices that can make the difference between frustration and glorious connectivity. You probably already know where you are on the frustration scale. Do you have areas of your home or property where you can't connect your laptop to the internet? Does your phone seem to struggle with connectivity in different areas of your house? Or does Netflix stutter or hang while you're trying to watch that movie on Saturday night? These are all signs of a poor home connectivity setup. Now I'm going to be careful here because some of you will know that a slow connection does not necessarily mean a bad connection. It just means that the service you subscribe to is, well, slow. Spending more money on an expensive Wi-Fi router is not going to improve that situation. I have a very unscientific formula that may be able to help you calculate your needs. First, identify the type of connection that you have. Is it cable, phone line, satellite, cellular, fiber, whatever. Now, add in your service subscription level, or how big is the data pipeline that comes into your house. Now, layer on the area of consistent coverage that you need across your entire home. And finally, align it with the products and services you need to create your version of the smart connected lifestyle. The answer, of course, is going to be different for everyone, but we can make a few basic assumptions. 90% of the time, the internet connection for the homes in North American metro markets, where we are, is generally large enough to meet our needs. So we can set that aside for a moment, which leads us back to our Wi-Fi setup. Most people have the box that their service provider gave them stuck in the basement or a least accessible room in their house, and they use the default settings to give them their Wi-Fi. Most times this is adequate at best. But it shows up on the frustration meter when the signal is weaker or drops out in different times of the day or different days of the week, or when the gamer in the house hogs all the bandwidth. You can find many sites and videos that will help you suggest ways to improve your service provider's basic setup, but there is seldom a single magic trick. ECKAI Group uses the same methodology that is used by big companies and professional services not normally associated with the residential market. It's a combination of a site survey and common sense. While we are here and ready to help you plan this out, this is something that many of you can actually do yourself. First, we have to understand the restrictions. Wi-Fi signals are subject to 4 laws, and these aren't good laws. They don't say how good the signal can be, they dictate how bad it might be. Law number 1, distance. Even in a perfect world, if there are no other restrictions or laws, a Wi-Fi signal can only go so far. Manufacturers may throw around a lot of numbers that look impressive, But in our real world, there aren't many residential Wi-Fi routers that can go farther than 30 or 40 meters. That's about 100 to 150 feet. Law number 2, direction. Most antennae are directional. Did you know that? You could have the strongest signal in the world, but if it's pointing north and you're standing south, no amount of signal is going to reach you. Many of the service providers' no antenna boxes actually point out in many directions at once, but guess what? Those different antennae draw on all the power, which reduces the distance that those signals can go, thereby fighting law number 1. Law number 3, obstacles. Yes, magical wireless waves can travel through walls and floors, but each time they do, they lose a bit of their strength. How much that depends on the material. Concrete is denser than wood, and each obstacle presented gives less signal strength to pass through the next obstacle in its path. Law number 4, interference. Even though we can't see them, wireless waves are banging into other wireless waves that are on the same channels and frequencies. Take out your phone right now and open up your Wi-Fi app. How many hotspots do you see? How many are your own? Each one of those is taking up space in the air. And complicating it even further is your microwave generates signals that float through the air, and your neighbor's microwave, and their neighbor's microwave. All these things bouncing around the air, taking up space, and banging into each other. Every single Wi-Fi setup must take these 4 laws into account because they are conspiring against you at all times. It's amazing when you consider this that we can manage to get stable wireless connections at all, but we can and we do. The path to success is choosing the right equipment for your needs and understanding your environment, then setting up that equipment in that environment. The box from your service provider may be right for you. Maybe you need a little more control over what you're doing and want a separate Wi-Fi router. That might be the right answer for you as well. Or for those who want the very best that's out there right now, a mesh Wi-Fi system may be the only thing that's going to satisfy your needs. Each has its pros and cons. Each has pricing implications. Each has a different point of frustration on the frustration meter. And each may be right for you. It just depends. You deserve to have the best that technology has to offer. You deserve to have that technology work and work for you. Click on the link just down here below our video to get a free PDF of Wi-Fi tips and tricks. A few tweaks to your existing system can be the difference between success or frustration of your evolving smart home system. And please do join us in our next video as we talk about the differences between smart hubs, controllers, and devices. These are the components that are going to make up your evolving smart home solution. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.